Hello, welcome to Patrice's Projects. Today's video is a little bit different. It's part of a collaboration put out by Wholesome Roots called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly of Homesteading. I'm not a homesteader, but I thought I would join in the collaboration anyway because I am a home gardener. So this episode is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly of Home Gardening. I'll start with the best thing about having a home garden. Because I have to have my garden in the front yard, because I only have a small area of sun in the backyard and my husband won't let me put a garden there. Not to mention it doesn't get enough sun. This is the sunniest part, and as you'll see in the video, I don't get that much sun here either. Right now is the sunniest time of day. But the best thing is the interaction I get from neighbors and just people that walk in my neighborhood. We have a very active neighborhood. People walking dogs all the time. We're just taking walks. And people love to stop by and talk to me in my garden. And because I suffer from major depression and chronic pain, which is depressing in itself, I don't get out and about. I don't go out and socialize. So this is really good for me. So the contact with other people, whether I even know their name or not, that's a good thing. Being able to provide food for the table. One of the best goods for me as a gardener was to be able to build this garden room. I have a tool shed where we store the lawnmower and rakes and shovels and things like that when they're not in use over here. And this side, this is a fully insulated garden room. You see the silver back there, that's foam insulation I was given. But inside, I'm able to start plants. Let me show you the inside. It's a mess right now, but I have a little potting table with a sink. And once I make a cover for this jar, it will supply water for it, but all this I was able to build. And then over here, I have shelves. These are really tall shelves, and then a smaller set over this way. And I have a set of T5 grow lights with 4 bulbs so I can get plant starts for the garden. And then I can also grow plants in here during the winter, because not only do I have that light, but I have this one up here, which is really big. Another good thing is the free food I get. This is my almond tree. This is from an orchard that was here before our house, which was built in the 50s. Another good thing is the free seed I get. This is buttercrunch lettuce, and obviously I can't possibly use all of this in my tiny garden. So I'm going to do a seed giveaway soon on my channel. So that's a good thing, being able to give to people things that I really enjoy growing and I love sharing. Working with the soil and growing plants, making compost, all of that is just so therapeutic psychologically. And I mean, the benefit is just the food that I get to eat, the healthy food that tastes so much better than store-bought. But psychologically, it just makes you feel good inside. At least it does me. Homemade compost is definitely one of the goods. So, and you see this is nice, complete compost. It's made mostly of garden scraps, kitchen scraps, lawn clippings was a big part of it, and leaves. I collect leaves from my yard and from the sidewalk even, and I save them in bags so that I can make compost for any time of the year where it's not too hot or too cold. One of the bad things about home gardening is the pests. I think that is with any homesteading, home gardening, for anyone, you're going to encounter pests. Mine this year, spider mites. From a distance, my garden looks pretty good. But if you get in closer, you begin to see more and more yellow. And if you get in really close, you see it's all spider mite damage. I have treated these in the past several times. I've removed many, many leaves off of these plants. This Prax cherry tomato plant seems to be taking it the worst right now. But you see it also on my Polish linguiça. A little less on my boxcar willy. They're all kind of tangled up. I have very limited space. And speaking of limited space, I'm standing out in the road right now. This is my whole garden area. I have these two beds here. They're 4x10s. I have a little strawberry bed back in there. I have pots all over. And then I've got, it's hard to tell, this is a keyhole bed. It goes this way and then wraps around there. The reason these two don't have soil is because I don't have any animals to make manure. I can't have goats. My husband doesn't want chickens, but those may be in the future anyway, since we are allowed to have chickens in this neighborhood. But the best I can do is make this compost. It's 10:15, and you see shade over almost my whole garden. A lot of the reason is the neighbor's juniper, and then I have this gigantic deodar cedar, as well as there's a pecan in there as well. And all of this is out of my control. My husband, his grandparents planted that tree when he was a little boy, and it would cost $10,000 or so to get rid of. And this juniper over here shades my garden room, which you can see the roof of right there, for the whole morning. So regardless of how many windows I put on it, I still have shade. And then looking the other direction, I have these birch. They go really high. So they start shading my garden way earlier than need be. My husband planted those. Those aren't going anywhere. So you may be wondering, why the shade cloth? Because at the time of the day when this does get full-on sun, it's the hottest time of day. And yesterday was 106, today's supposed to hit 104. So when it does get sun, it gets blasted. I think if my garden would receive some morning sun where it can, get that nice milder but full sun, and make it nice and healthy and grow, instead of just the intense sun where it's just trying to survive, it would do a lot better. Another bad thing about being a home gardener is when your husband doesn't think you need a truck because you don't have a farm, you're not in construction or any other sort of trade where you absolutely need your truck. I have to move garden soil, compost, manure, and lumber with my car. Thankfully, I have a roof rack for the lumber. And the ugly is cat poop. Every day, just about, I come out and right in the middle of my mulch walkway from my gate, there'll be a pile of cat poop. Either that or along the edge here by the house, we took out a hedge and I put in some crops. So there's some loose soil, the cats poop over there too. And I don't have an outdoor cat, I only have an indoor cat, so none of this is my cat poop. But to me, that's very ugly, as well as tomato hornworms. There's nothing grosser than killing a big 3-inch long, quarter-inch diameter or half-inch diameter hornworm. That is ugly. And there is one more ugly thing that I won't even show you. I collect the garden waste and things like that in buckets, lidded buckets, prior to me building a compost pile, and that gets very anaerobic. That's ugly. So there is so much more good than the bad and ugly at my home garden here in the city. One of the best things is finding out that my son and my stepson both love eating super healthy foods like greens. I've learned to make them very well since finding out that they enjoy eating them. I thought I would be the only one really partaking in the Swiss chard and things like that if I cooked them. In salad, I knew that they would eat it because they're salad eaters. But when I sauteed them with some garlic and things like that, the boys wanted it, and that was great. So many good things about having a home garden. Thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you're not a subscriber yet, I'd appreciate you doing that and then clicking the bell button for notifications of upcoming videos. Let me know all the good things about home gardening or homesteading for you. Put it in the comments down below. I'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks, Rose.